All right, Diana, it is good to talk to you. You passed the PMP a couple days ago. Let's not hold it out. How did you do?
Um, I did okay.
Did okay. I mean, you just passed or
I
what?
passed it. That's awesome.
Yeah, you're
Um,
kind of like leading into that.
yeah. I
So
didn't know if
cool.
you wanted like how I did overall, or I did
Doesn't
awesome,
matter.
man, because I passed. That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. That is.
Pass 100, 90, 70, whatever. They don't give you scores, but
That's
I
good.
didn't care if I just barely eked over the line. I just wanted to pass it.
That's cool. So, give me a little background, or anybody who's listening to this thing, like, what's your little PMP story background? Kind of walk me through before we got involved, how you were feeling, if you don't mind,
Okay.
PMP wise.
So I took another class. It was, the 35-hour contact,
Mm-hmm.
8 to 4, Monday through Friday. Some guy reading slides to me.
There you
Please.
go.
Like I told you, the first time we talked to somebody, just shoot me now.
Yeah.
Um, there was not enough interaction for me, and it was just a whole bunch of information. Be sure to pay attention to that. Be sure to pay attention to that, which is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
However, it didn't get me where I needed to be.
Yep.
Right. So it was basically self-study with a few pointers, is the way I saw it.
Yep.
And again, some guy reading a bunch of slides to me. So so that's when I reached out to you and told you, somebody just shoot me. I can't do that again.
Yeah.
And so then I took your class. I did the 7-day
Yep.
Accelerator. Awesome stuff. I was trying to work full time and do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was still feeling a bit overwhelmed
Yep.
with that. So then I jumped into, is it the Master Success class?
Yeah.
I was just like, slow this pony down. I've got to take this a little slower for me.
Yep.
And, some people can get through it in 7 days. I just wasn't able to.
It's
I mean,
all
I got through
right.
the class in 7 days, but I didn't have it embedded here in 7 days. So I just started going video 1, video 2. And I'm like, I'm going to get this. I do the
Mm-hmm.
quiz. I do the John stories,
Mm-hmm.
and then I followed that up with reading the PMBOK for each
Mm-hmm.
section.
Damn.
Oh my God. I just wanted to, it was a
Yeah.
lot. But, again, with the stress from my job right now,
Yeah.
I just wasn't retaining what I needed to
Mm-hmm.
as quickly as I normally would.
Okay.
So that's why I had to slow the pony down and like, okay, I'm doing this
Yeah.
way. And that got me to pass. I mean,
That's good.
I picked up things in those smaller videos that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't, in the 7-day class, because I was
Mm-hmm.
more focused on just one thing instead of, oh my God, I've got to encompass all of this. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what worked for me, was I
That's
just had
good.
to slow it down.
That's good. I mean, because it's good to hear, because it gave you all the content, said, hey, let's go through it methodically. We'll do the 7-day thing first. And then, if we need more, we can go back down into the depth. So there is no one path through this thing.
Right.
There's no like, oh, I got to do it in this, it's no comparison time wise or anything else wise.
And that's what I was doing. I was like, I had the perfect schedule in my mind of how I'm going to go about this.
Yeah.
And I've always learned quick,
Mm-hmm.
retained things easily, but this time I didn't. I think it was just the stress of my job and what's going on right now. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So the 7-day thing, I put too much pressure on myself to try to get it done right now.
Yep.
And so that's when I just had the realization that, you know what, somebody else
Slow
might
down.
be able to, and it's okay that I can't. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go, and I'm going to slow it down and one
I like that.
thing at a time. So
That's good. I
that's
mean, because I feel, I don't want to, I hope we didn't put any pressure or anything. Like the 7-day thing is just there. And we talked early because you pushed your date back, right?
I did.
Yeah. So talk me through kind of like, because initially you had a firm date and we were like, all right, we can get you through, but it's going to be tight, but we got to be able to be flexible with the date just in case. Cause we didn't want to like get into it and walk into a bad experience. Like,
Right. I
like
wanted
the
to
fact,
take it before the 4th of July, and I took it July 31st instead.
And like, you might have initially like I believe the first time that I talked to you, you were very like, hey, I want to take it. I don't think I can do this. This is bad. I want to take it. I want to take it and get it, like,
Sure.
but I like the fact that you had like you're like, okay, I think I can move it back. I mean, a couple of weeks, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
It's just my time frame of, between work and scheduling it with my job and my boss being out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then trying to, because I'm changing careers. I told you that. So then trying to get the resumes out and interview and all of that by a certain date.
Right.
Um,
I
so
know.
the business I'm in, we're coming up on our busy season, and I want to get out before that starts because I don't want to leave them
Yeah.
hanging in the middle of that. Yeah, that wouldn't be right. So
Totally understand.
anyhow, so
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. And I was dancing and singing and crying, and I mean, every emotion you could think of was rolling through me. I mean, I literally was like shouting, and the little light was still on, so I knew the proctor was still there.
Yeah.
Going nuts. I didn't know what they were thinking. I was like, oh my gosh. But
That's,
hey, he was happy. So
yeah, that's good. I mean, that's raw, like real emotion. It meant a lot to you
yeah,
and us. So, I
yeah.
mean, it's always good for us to hear that from the students, because like it is a big deal. And
I'm equally excited too. So, there's that.
yeah, you got that going for you too. So let's talk like a little bit about, I like the fact that you went through both courses. Like it's no big deal. Like it's
Yeah.
really good. That's why it's there. When you kind of slowed your mind down and you walk through each process and you're able to pay attention and stuff and kind of retain it, like
Yeah.
what helped, other than like the actual act of slowing it down, was there, what was helping you understand, like the way it was presented or the way you focused, or like talk me through like what helped
I
you?
think it was more because it was broken into smaller chunks.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't feel overwhelmed when I saw that the video was 4 hours and 58 minutes.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
there
like
are some
8
longer
minutes,
ones in the
8
accelerator. They're
minutes,
not
I can
all
do
that
that,
long, but yeah, there were some that are,
So,
yeah.
or like in the 7-day, it might say required study today is,
Oh
4.5
yeah,
hours or whatever,
yeah,
not
that's it.
the
Yeah.
video wasn't 4.5, sorry.
It's all right.
But so that, I've got 8 minutes. Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then I can take a second and let that sink in, just
Mhm.
absorb the information before I move on.
That's
I was
good.
taking notes, and I made me some, I called them Monopoly cards.
Okay.
They, they were all the iddos,
Yeah.
And then as you went through the videos, I'd have my Monopoly card there because I printed them in color and they literally looked like the Monopoly
Yeah,
property.
little community chest or whatever it's called, or
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go.
So if it just said like documents, update documents, I was writing in there what documents were updating
Yeah.
just to refine it a little more and just the important points. And so then I just had one little card with teeny tiny writing on it.
Okay.
So
That's cool. I mean, whatever works for you. Like
yeah,
there's a lot of different methods, and like you got to find out, and that you kind of managed yourself and found out what worked for you. And
I know that I learned by repetition
okay.
and then by writing it down.
Yeah.
Most times if I write something down, it's there.
Good.
For whatever reason, it took me 2 or 3 times writing it down this time.
Yeah, and like a lot of the times, I think I've learned. So you got to learn how it comes out. Like it comes out through your fingers, or comes out through your mouth, or you got to let it stew in your head. Whatever. Everyone's a little bit different. So
Yeah.
if you know
If
you,
I
then
couldn't repeat it back, like paraphrase something, I don't know it yet.
that's
So
another good point.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have to be able to paraphrase, and I think anybody does. If you ask a question or explain something, if I can't paraphrase it back to you, I don't have true understanding. You cannot pass this test without understanding.
Talk to me about that. What do you mean? Like I've been told by the internet that all I have to do is memorize my way to this test. Is the internet
No,
lying to me?
it is lying.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, some people might be able to do that, but
Yeah.
I don't recommend it because you got to know the flows of everything. How are you going to know the flow if you just memorize a chart?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can memorize the process chart. Great. There's 49 process, but what about all the inputs, outputs, tools, techniques? They don't teach you how to memorize all of that. But why
Yeah.
would you memorize it? Because if I'm memorizing something, when the test asks me, what should you have done? Well, now I got to recreate the whole chart again and then back up to it. That just doesn't work. If you understand the flows, then okay, well, I already did this. You come to it naturally instead of forcing yourself to recall a list that you're going to have to recreate each time you come to a question. You'll
Yeah.
never get through the test that way. Not with 1 minute and 12 seconds per question. There's no way.
That's cool.
And you don't have time to write that chart down, and your little whiteboard is like, like a 3x5 card. You can't get it all on there.
Yeah.
So, don't. And if you want to do this as a career, why would you want to just memorize something and not have total understanding that you're going to use in the future?
Yeah.
So
Totally
that's
makes
the way I
sense.
see it.
I love it. I mean, I love it. A lot of people come to that realization way too late. And then, I mean, I was talking to some guy on the phone today, just random simulator guy who called, and he was like, I got my data dump. So, I got that going. I'm like, hey, what do you want to do in your data dump? And he's like, I'm gonna write down all the 49 processes, then I'm write down the IDOs and write down the whatever. I'm like, how long do you think that's going to take? And he was like, oh, it took like 15 to 25 minutes. And I'm like, dude, like, that's like
Yeah.
almost, let's call it a half hour or 15 minutes, whatever. That's a long time. And I was like,
Right.
and then what? And then what?
Yeah.
And so,
You've just eaten up how many questions that you won't be able to answer
right.
because you won't have time.
One at a time. Yeah. Makes sense. And so I know that I pitch that all the time, tell you like, yo, don't memorize, don't memorize, don't memorize. But did you believe that the first time or what?
Um, yes and no.
Okay. That's
I mean,
reasonable.
I've always been a good test taker. I've been able to memorize things.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to get through a test.
Yeah.
But I don't want to just get through the test and forget it, because that's the drawback with memorizing something. You're only going to remember it long enough to get through the test.
Yeah.
Again, if this is going to be your career, you need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want your doctor to memorize things to get through the medical exam, right? And then come and try to remember it later on you. He's forgotten it by the time he's gone through a job interview. So, no, I mean, the same thing. This is your career. This is your livelihood. This is how you're going to take care of your family. Why would you want to cheat on that?
Yeah.
Or
Jesus.
if you will.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
I'm old, so I think like that.
I
Not
like it.
something, when I was 20 something, I thought like that. And I got through nursing school memorizing things, and it didn't click until later. Of course, I'm in my 30s looking back. Not now, I'm way older than that. But in my 30s, I looked back on that and I was like, whoa, that's not the way to do things. So, and as you get older, those family ties and your security and stuff are way more important, But I've always believed in doing everything well the first time. I don't want to do it twice. I mean, it takes more time to do it twice.
That's dead on honest. Like,
Do
I
it
think
right the first time, save everybody all the time and trouble doing it again. So,
plus they don't have to hear all those stories about, oh, I failed and all this stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
I like what you're saying. I think it's dead on right with like let's just appreciate what we're trying to do from the bigger picture standpoint. Yeah, we're trying to pass. We're also trying to take care of ourselves and our family and everything else, and sharpen the saw of like our professionalness, how well we are product managers. So,
yeah.
so it's good.
I was really confused in the beginning because, like it was just that one long class, and there was just an overwhelming amount of information, as you know. And looking back, my advice to anybody now would be take one process a day and know it before you go to the next one. That would be my advice.
Yeah.
Because, then you don't have to worry about memorizing or getting confused like I did, down the road. Oh my God, what did that do and this do? And it's all tangled up like a big knot, one a day and you'll get there. It'll take you longer, but you'll know it when you get done.
It's very true.
Don't ride the racehorse, man.
What's that?
Marathon, not a sprint. Don't ride the racehorse.
That's very true. That's very true. And, I'm the guy, I do have a 7-day accelerator. So I worry about what I'm teaching people. Like you can go through quickly, but it's not like a cheat thing or short-term calories or whatever, carbohydrates or sugar or whatever. Like the whole thing is to like understand, like you did, like like all these people come to me, like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 calls a day where people are like, oh, I've got all the things in my head or all the IDOs in my head. All I need to do is take another 2,000 questions. And I'm like, goodness me. Like, I don't think so. And so you just got to be able to talk it through. Like you said, if you can't explain it to a kid or to your grandma or to yourself, then you ain't got it. And you're going to get eaten up by these questions.
Now, I believe some people can do the 7-day.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no question.
Yeah.
But someone like me, no, we got to slow that pony down.
And it's no big deal. Everything is your own like pace. And so there's no rush. And like the 7-day thing with just for me is like, it just modularly chunks it up. It's less attractive if I call it nice, easy path to your success. Like that's less good from like a woo standpoint. But that's supposedly
better marketing with 7-day accelerator.
There you go. And they're hard shit. We just had someone go from not knowing the PMBOK to passing in 7 days, like just had another one. And I'm like, damn, like
How do I do that? That's
How do you
amazing.
do that? Yeah, she did a pretty good job. I mean, she had some sessions with me, but like, but she did pretty damn good. She's smart girl. But the PMPs are the same.
Yeah.
Y'all's are the same, so it's no different. Hers and yours. You took a
Yeah.
little bit longer, but you still went. I mean, heck, people are studying for this thing for years. Like, how long before, like, we got together, did you study for roughly?
I studied for a total of 8 weeks.
Oh, from the terrible class to like you're done.
Pass it.
Like 8 weeks is nothing. Like
I did
you don't
eight
even
weeks.
need to get a new haircut in 8 weeks. I mean, I don't know how frequent you
No,
get.
I didn't.
You didn't even get it.
I haven't been to a hair salon in over a year.
Oh Jesus, yeah. I went to get a haircut today just because I was like, I need a break. I can get out of the house. I'm gonna get my haircut and wear a mask while I do it. So
Yep.
that's the way it goes.
I'll
Cool.
just cut
So
my own, color my own, because I ain't wearing no mask. Forget it.
that's the way it goes. That's cool.
So yeah, it was quite a journey. I was terrified. I was literally sitting there biting my knuckle before I hit the submit button on the
Yeah.
exam. I was terrified to get, oh, sorry. But it came back, congratulations. I was like, what? And I literally couldn't even see it. I was like, does that say what I think it says? I had to read it 3 times. And that's just when all those emotions busted loose. I mean, I've been freaking out over my job. I've been freaking out over studying, trying to fit it all in, and it's all getting washed together,
Yeah.
you know. So this brain's had too much going on, and but I felt like the exam was pretty easy.
Okay. All right.
I
So
mean,
talk me through the kind of exam like you did. So I think one thing
not
you got to give
easy.
yourself.
The questions weren't
Yeah.
easy.
Okay.
Deciphering the questions was the hardest part.
Right.
What do they want? What answer are they, what are they really asking me? That was the hardest part. And there was one of them that I just shook my head and I said out loud, hell, I don't know. And I went on. I just marked something and went on. Because some of the questions, they're not all written by the same person.
Right.
So their verbiage is different. And this one, obviously, their primary language is not English.
Yeah.
So it was kind of choppy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I couldn't understand it at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, but you got to realize some of those questions, like they say, aren't the ones that are official. They're just testing them out. And they do have people writing them from all over the world. So,
right.
I mean, like American English is different than British. Like, I don't even know. Or like the way I was, some like lady passed and she lives in Texas now, but she used to live in England. And she said she's well chuffed when she passed. And I was like, I'm not going to comment because I don't know what that means. Like, I mean,
sounds good.
Sounds maybe good. She's like, yeah, that's great. And I'm like, all right, sweet. But I mean, like the well chuffed person could have written some questions.
Right.
Who knows what the hell they're talking about. So
right. And I had one of those. So
yeah.
I just marked something and went on.
Yeah.
And then I got, had to do free float.
Yeah.
So I drew my diagram. I took the time to draw my diagram, did my forward pass, and then I completely lost it. I could not remember how to do the backward pass. I'm like, hell, I don't know. And I just went on.
But that's good. You didn't wrap yourself around the axle and be like, oh God, one question, the world's falling apart.
No,
like you were just
and
like,
I marked it for review and went back to it. I was like, I'm not focusing on this right now. Not the math questions. I'm not focusing on this right now. If I missed one or two, great. But I just marked them and I skipped them and went on so I could answer more.
Yeah. You can find those easy ones, the ones that hit you right and be like, boom, I got those.
And I had an epiphany like the day before the exam.
Okay.
And you're probably going to be like,
about life or about PMP?
About PMP.
Okay, good.
Damn, you're probably going to think, damn girl, you're slow. But
no. What's your PMP epiphany?
I realized the day before the exam that your inputs and outputs are pretty much always documents and your tools and techniques are actions. And I was like, okay. So then on the test, I was like, okay, what's a tool and technique? I'm looking for actions. And sure enough, that was the correct answer. I'm like, damn, that's cool. I can get through this faster now.
So I think that's cool that so what did it just come to you in your sleep or when you're like making tuna salad? Like when did this come to you? Like
I was watching videos.
Okay.
And then I was like, whoa. So just something popped out in a video. I'm like, okay. So that was most helpful during the exam.
That's good.
Documents, actions.
There
So
you go. And that's the thing that like it comes out in different ways where people see patterns and stuff. Cause you said it that way. And I'm like, okay, like in my head just now, like if that affects you and that gives you the realization, I can work that into the repertoire of the things that I'm saying, just as I'm breaking them down, just enough. Cause like when I'm trying to explain stuff, I'm trying to give like 3 or 4 layers that like, hey, you
yeah,
don't have, not all these have to hook you. Like all I got to get one in, I got to get one example that works for you. Like, let me
right,
pitch you 4 pitches. Like,
right.
one of them you're going to hit. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
just
but so if
another
you
one.
look at it, the inputs and outputs, they're mostly documents,
That's
you
true.
know, mostly.
Yeah, mostly.
And
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
tools and techniques are mostly actions you're gonna
That's a
utilize.
pretty empower. Like it seems simple, but it's not. It's
It was
useful.
powerful for me.
Yeah,
It really was. I mean, like I said, I may be slow or something, but it popped out and I was like, dang, I got this now, you know?
and the cool part is you had the realization yourself. It wasn't like, oh, I learned that from somebody telling me. No, no, no. That was like boop, your own light bulb, which
Yeah.
are the best kind of light bulbs. And
Right.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
think you got to give yourself some credit. You've downplayed your performance a couple times, like in our call and stuff. Like, oh, I might be slow, I might be whatever. I think you got to give yourself a lot of credit.
okay.
Like,
Well, I did awesome and I'm very proud of myself. I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie.
you should
Um,
be.
I'm not a big bragger,
Uh-huh.
so you
Yeah,
know.
I don't think you're bragging. I think you're just like stating the facts. And like from me, from my side of the table, like the things that I'm most proud of you for, not only just passing, of course, but like managing yourself, like in your mind and your emotions, and being able to
They got
like,
ahead of me there at the beginning. I was like,
yep,
mm-mm, gotta
yeah,
quit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Go
It
ahead. I didn't
happens.
mean to interrupt you.
What's up?
I said I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
So,
But yeah, like you have a lot going. You had a lot going on. There's a lot of people out there that got a lot going on: jobs, family, work. Damn, COVID's trying to kill the whole world. So like, all this stuff. Like you were able to pull yourself together and say, "I got this. I can do it." You found your own path. You didn't compare yourself to other people so much, and you did it. And you walked in, or you sat down and took it on the thing, and you did well. So
yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what everybody's got to do. Find their own kind of like path in a sense.
I know I'm relatively intelligent, so there's that. But this took me by surprise. It really
Okay.
did because I didn't realize the amount of information that I would have
Mhm.
to know.
Yeah.
So that's why I downplay it all the time because I'm like, maybe somebody already said that or,
Yeah,
but
whatever.
yeah,
I
but
think
I
it's
did it. That's all that matters.
it is all that matters. It's a little bittersweet for me because like, we get involved in like, you get going and you do these coaching calls or you go to the other things. And then afterwards we're like, you passed, high five, it's all great. And then it's like, damn, like you got to go back to your normal life. There's no,
Right?
but it's good. It's good because it's 8 weeks and nothing. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
And I
cool.
finished it just in time. Our job's doing something. I do Medicare,
Hmm.
which you can cut all this out, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Now that you tell me to. Yeah.
yeah, because like
Uh-huh. I
they
got
have
you.
no idea, so we can't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like don't tag me or anything.
No, no, no.
Um, so with COVID,
Hmm.
with Medicare, I can't make cold calls. I
Hmm.
can't do community events. So where do you get new business, right?
Hmm.
So like sales are come to a screeching halt. So they're training us how to take those incoming calls to our call center.
Hmm.
And it started today.
Oh, wow.
So the timing couldn't have been better. I don't
That's
think I
good.
could handle studying and learning all this new stuff
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't
Yeah.
have worked. So the timing worked out perfectly.
That's good. That's good.
But I'm
So,
happy to help anybody that wants help. So, it doesn't have to be sayonara.
oh yeah, well, that's good. I mean, if like all our coaches are students or were students and they
Yeah.
all want to do the same thing. So, there's definitely a role and a support network and people would definitely,
That's why I
uh,
sell Medicare because I like to help.
there you go. There you go. So there's probably people out there that are like you in a certain way, like they're either making a transition or want to. They're super, super busy. They're like, they need to do it. They know they got to need to do it, but they just got to manage it. And like maybe they're doubting themselves a little bit and a little frustrated or something. If they're out there and they're like, hey, I like what she's saying, I see myself in her in a sense. Um, what would you say to them as far as like how to, be as successful as you are? Like, what would be your advice? for them?
Just slow down. Take it one day at a time. Eat that elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I would recommend doing one process a day.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
Yeah.
If I had known what I know now, obviously, that's how
Mm-hmm.
I would do it. I would take one process a day. I would take my time. Okay, that's 49 days. But you're
Mm-hmm.
going to know it because one builds off of the other, builds off of the other. So you don't have to keep going back and rereading and redoing. And to me, that would be more efficient just to
Mm-hmm.
glide through it instead of try to cram it all in,
Yeah.
especially if your life is stressful, right?
Yeah.
If you're stressful, you tend not to retain as much anyways.
Truth.
So just slow it down. Don't freak out about it. Just take it one chunk at a time.
That's it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good advice. And like the thing is, we can some of those processes we can pull out, like all those ones in planning, plan something management. We can go, let's just call them all one thing. Then we're down to 39. Sweet.
Right?
But then you're down to like like, yeah, I can do that for you. And then to, you know, I think your advice to slow down in order to, in a sense, speed up, like they say, is
Yeah.
very, very good. Cause you're like, I'm just gonna get this one. I don't need to get everything. Let's get it down and really understand it.
Yeah.
That's the way to do
You
it.
have to understand it to move on to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise it all just gets tied up in a big knot and then you have to go back and untangle it and try to figure it out again.
That's
So if
no
you just
fun.
slow it down, and I had to like really like put a bubble around myself,
Uh-huh.
like block the world out and focus.
That's good.
You know, I've got everything going on around me. I've got my kids at home because of coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
Nobody can go anywhere.
Yeah.
I got a hyper dog who thinks he has to have everybody's attention 24/7.
Right.
My husband was working at home for a while and he's in and out half of the time throughout the day. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm trying to work from
Yeah.
home. So I'm like, you know,
How can you
so
make
I
time?
finally,
Yeah.
I would just go retreat to a quiet place, which for me was the back porch,
Mm-hmm.
turn on all my tiki torches and just shut the world out and focus for a minute, you know,
There you go.
steal the minutes that you can. That's why I say one process at a time. You can steal those minutes,
Yes.
right? You can
Mhm.
steal the minutes to do that and then think about it all day. And by the time you get back to the next one, you're ready to go to the next one, you know?
I like that. I like that.
Um,
I
not
think
every
that's good. That's a good practical kind of perspective where if people are like the life is spinning, you can try to segment it, de-spin it a little bit and just kind of like
Yeah.
methodically walk through it. So
Yeah.
that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I
Well,
like methodically.
I like methodical too. I think it's good. Well, I really, really appreciate the insights that you've given us. And like, I'm proud of you for getting through
Thank
it. And
you.
now you can go on to the next and
Thanks for all
greatest
your help.
thing. Yes,
Now
ma'am.
I'm going to cry again.
It's all right. I'm a sympathetic crier. So it'll be two of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah,
You-
it was a challenge, but it was worth the journey, and I appreciate all your help. You
yes, ma'am.
did exactly what you promised me, and you got me there. So
That's it. That's all
Thank
we
you.
can do. Yeah. I remember the first time we talked. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it. you were a tough person to like get like riled, get pulled in because but once we did
Yeah,
and
I'm
you
like, oh, it's just another salesman. You know,
yeah.
I'm very skeptical. I'm a salesperson. I'm skeptical.
That's
So-
very true. That's
And I was
unfortunate. Yeah.
like, what the heck?
Yeah. And then we got into it.
It's
And you
money,
did it.
right?
That is it. And you did so well. So
Thank you.
have a good night. I appreciate it. And yeah,
Thanks.
we'll be around and we'll leverage your help with the new students.
Sure.
Thanks a lot. All
Be
right.
happy
See
to
you.
help. See
Yes,
ya.
ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.